Hey there, I'm Amy Falcioni of Big Picture Marketing, and I'm here with my 5 favorite things about Typeform. If you need to collect information online for things like surveys, event registrations, or market research, Typeform should definitely be on your list of platforms to check out. My first favorite thing about Typeform is that they have a free version. The free version gets you a bunch of different options for the types of questions you can ask, but you are limited to 10 questions in each form, and you're limited to 100 responses per month. So if you're looking for a way to ask dozens of questions, or if you need to collect information from hundreds or thousands of people, check out the Typeform Pro version for more choices. My second favorite thing is that these forms are really fun to fill out. You might not think that typing in responses to questions could be fun, but I'm not kidding you, they're a real pleasure to use. The people at Typeform have done a lot of research into the psychology of forms, how humans interact with them, and what keeps people motivated to complete a form. I'm not sure that I'd want to do that research myself, but I'm really glad there's someone out there doing it. Now, you might be thinking, okay, it's nice that the forms are fun to use, but what does that have to do with my business? The key difference with Typeform is that because they've done the research to make their forms really engaging, more people will complete your forms, which will result in a higher response rate for you, and that equals more sales, donations, or information for your organization. That is very powerful because you can spend all the time in the world creating what you think are the best questions, but if people aren't filling it out, then there's no value in it for you. My third favorite thing about Typeform is that you can really customize each form as needed. You can change the colors, add graphics or images, and make each form fit into your brand's standards so it's consistent with your organization's look and feel. Next is that Typeform makes it really easy to display your forms on different marketing channels. If you go under the Share tab, you'll see options to share a link and embed the form into your website, or even create a form for email. And my fifth favorite thing about Typeform is that you can look at your results in a lot of different ways. You have the option of getting an email every time someone fills out your form, which is great if you're not expecting that many responses. You can also generate a report with all of the responses collected in one place, or you can just view the responses online. And you have the added benefit of seeing how people filled out your form, whether it was on their laptop, their smartphone, a tablet, or some other device. That wraps up my 5 favorite things about Typeform. Stick around for the bonus where I show you how to create a quick questionnaire in Typeform. And if you want to see just how fun their forms are, head to the link below for a sample form I made. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for sticking around for the bonus. I'm going to show you how to create a form using Typeform. I've gone to typeform.com and I created an account. And after logging in, I'm going to go up here to the top right and click on New Typeform. The first thing I see is a screen listing a bunch of different templates that I could start with. They're grouped into a bunch of different categories. I'm going to scroll all the way down here to Show Me More Templates. It loads sort of a generic registration form here on the left, and I can see even more templates over here to the right. I'm going to scroll down until I see Social Media Survey, which is right here. I'll click that, and I'm going to get a preview over here on the left of what the first screen is going to look like. That's what I want, so I'm going to click Use this template down here at the bottom. Once it's loaded, I can see all of the questions that are in this form currently, and if I scroll down, it looks like there's 8 of them. And I'm going to scroll back to the top here because this animated GIF is driving me crazy, so I'm going to delete that so you don't have to look at it, and neither do I. Each of these items at the left are what Typeform calls blocks. So this first block up here is actually an introduction block. It's not a question, it's just what your users are going to see when they first pull up the form. So it's kind of like a welcome screen. And I would like to have some kind of graphic up there, just not that animated GIF. So I'm going to change that first. How I do that is go over here to the very left and click this wrench icon. That's how I edit that block. Once you open up the edit block area, you can see all the different options on the left here. You can delete this block. You could have a description for it, variables, an image, a button which says start, and I'm going to click on add an image. Automatically I see all these different photos, and they're actually from Unsplash, which is a copyright-free photo source. I'm going to type in social media and see what kind of images come up. Looks like there's a lot of different options here. I'm going to scroll down, and I like this one with the girl on her phone plugged into the wall. So I'll check that one and then click add image. Typeform actually resizes this image so it looks really nice, and I don't have to worry about it being too gigantic or really tiny. I'll close this edit block over here on the left so you can see the rest of these questions. I'll scroll down and just double check on the different types of questions here. It's looking pretty good. This first question, which social network do you use the most, has a lot of different answers and too many for my taste. So I'm going to get rid of Tumblr and Google Plus in these answers. This block is called a picture choice question, where people can click on a picture or a graphic like this, or they can type in a letter on their keyboard to answer the question. But I'm going to get rid of Google Plus and Tumblr. And how I'm going to do that is just click once over on the left here and highlight Google and Tumblr. Just hit delete 2 times on my keyboard until it's totally gone. Now if you look on the right here, and this is your preview screen, this is actually what your users are going to see as they fill out your form. You can see that automatically it renumbered these choices, and so I didn't have to go in and manually change this to be E and this to be F. So it does a lot automatically. Looking at the options for a picture choice block, you'll see that it has things like you can make it required, which shows up as a red asterisk to the left of the question on your edit screen and then to the right of your question on the actual form. You could add a description, what the question is. I don't think we need that because it's pretty self-explanatory. Variables are a really neat way to personalize the form or really make it feel like it's more of a conversation. So there's a variable in here which is the answer to this first question: which social network do you use the most? If I check Facebook, then it's going to fill in how often do you check blank. In question number 2 here, you click on add and it knows that question number 1 is holding some information, so I can just click on that option and it automatically fills it in. If I go further down into the form, you can see that every question above is actually a variable. So I could add any of those answers into a subsequent question. I don't need that here on this question, so I'll delete that. Show labels is a way to show the text along with the graphic, and maybe people don't know that the bird means Twitter, and so it's helpful to have that on there. Supersize your photos if you want to. You could allow people to make multiple selections. I'm not going to do that because I'm asking which network, meaning which one do you use the most. You could randomize the selection if it's alphabetized and you don't want it to be, or if you want it to show up in a different order every time people open up the form. And then you have this add other option, which is checked, and that's only visible here on the preview. You can see that it's not actually listed on the picture choice options. Another edit you can make really fast is changing the order of your questions. I'm going to hover down here by the icon next to number 3, and I'm going to move it onto the number 2 block. And you can see that it changes. So number 2 became 3 and vice versa. So I'm going to change that back so the form still makes sense. Another thing you can change in edit block is the type of question that you're asking. So this one's a multiple choice, and this is going to give me one answer because I haven't made multiple selection live. I just want people to answer one of those. And you can see they've got short text, long text, yes, no, drop downs, payment, website, a lot of different options over here, so it's worth playing around with those. I use this for my client onboarding, and I typically use the short and long text the most, with a couple of multiple choice and yes/no questions. Depending on the type of question that you're asking, you get different options over here on the left. If you want to add another question in, like let's say I want to know where people live and I want to ask it between number 7 and number 8, all you do is go up here to add a block on the top left, and there's all the different options of the different questions that you can ask. This is going to be a short text answer, and I just click and drag it into the spot where I want it. The question is going to be, where do you live? I will add a description, and I'll type in, please answer city and state. I don't need an image or a video, and I'm not going to put a max number of characters on it. So I'm pretty happy with the way this is looking and the different questions that are asked. Because I have the free version, I'm limited to 10 total questions, which you really don't want to get too many more of if you're just asking for feedback. Once I'm finished asking all of my questions, I'm going to name my form as social media survey, and then I want to customize the look of it, customize the color specifically. I'll do that first. So I'll click over here on design, and you get all of these public themes. So these are just a lot of different color schemes that you could use, and they'll give you a preview over to the right once you click it. There's a lot of fun ones. It'll change the font as well and give you a background image if you want. Let's go up to customize, and you can play around with different colors for different parts of the form. So like for questions, you can make it red. Answers, you could make, blue. You can customize it and add your own color scheme in there. You can play around with that and even add a background image. I actually have my own theme for my brand colors, so I'm going to pick that. And just double checking that theme stuck. It's a lot of turquoise, and yep, looks pretty good. The other steps here on the left include logic, jump, and calculator, which are only available for pro versions. So if you want to do a little more sophisticated question asking or calculating, you could get the pro version. Notifications involve whether or not you want to get an email every time someone fills out the form. I'm going to turn that off because I don't need an email every time someone fills it out. And then under settings, there's a couple of things you can do with the free version, which includes your progress bar. You could do a proportion or a percentage, and they're pretty self-explanatory. Percentage will show you the percentage of completion, and proportion will say 0 of 10 questions answered, 5 of 10 questions answered as they move through the form. Most of these options, you have to have the Typeform branding on there, and you can't redirect in the free version, but you're welcome to upgrade to the pro if that's what you want. So I'll close that, and I'm ready to share this on my website. If you want to set up an integration with Google Sheets or MailChimp, they have a lot of different integrations. Most of them are available in the pro versions, but it's worth scrolling through to see if you have any of these platforms that you might want to integrate with. I'm going to click on the Share tab because I'm looking for how to embed this on my website. I'm going to click down here to embed in a web page, and you get some options here about how large you want the form to appear. I'd like my form to be about 800 pixels high, so I'm going to type in 800 here where it says height. I'm going to check seamless mode because I really like it to just kind of integrate and look like it goes with my website. And I'm hiding the header and the footer. I'll get the code here, and I'm going to click copy code so it goes into my clipboard. I'm going to go over to my website, which is in Squarespace, and I'm going to add in a code block and paste in that script. Now Squarespace automatically disables scripts when you're logged in, so I'll click preview in safe mode, and the Typeform will show up here. If I open up an incognito tab in Chrome, then I can view the form online. So I'm just going to go through and show you what it looks like. I'll press the letter key A so you can see what that's like. How often do I check Facebook? Let's be honest, like every hour probably. So you get this automatic thank you, and they redirect you to Typeform. If you had a pro version, you could redirect back to your own website. And last but not least, when you want to go and look at your responses, you click on results, and then you can see either a summary or each individual response yourself. So I've filled this out one time, and so I can see that there's one response, and apparently I visited it 4 times, and it took me 1 minute and 38 seconds to complete this form. Because there's only one response, it's gonna only show what I answered, but this would show you if you had, multiple people replying, then you could see how many people had filled out each option. And they just do a really nice job with displaying this data for you. And if you want to generate a report, you can click that over here. So that's your basic overview of Typeform. I hope that was helpful. And if you want to get started creating your own, you can head over to typeform.com. And if you want to fill out this social media survey that I just created, you can head to bigpicturemarketing.co/Typeform or click the link below. Thanks for watching. See you later.